Hey, welcome to Men on Scandal. This is our weekly look at the TV show Scandal. We recap every episode. I'm Tony Scott. In Washington, D.C. is Troy Johnson. Mark Clark's not with us today, but we'll hopefully be back next week.
He's being held with Jake at the Pentagon.
That's right. And this episode is called The Key.
Mm-hmm.
Every time when Scandal gets ready, actually before it comes on, when Grey's Anatomy is winding down, I always punch up the info because they always have pretty good names of shows. This one's called The Key, and I got to thinking, this must be a good one because it's only 2 words, and it's just very plain.
Right.
And we start out, as always, lots of moving parts to every episode, but Olivia and Quinn are working on the murder of Olivia's college friend's daughter, Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're spying on Caitlin's roommate, and there's a guy in the room and
lurking
that they're watching. They're watching all this through binoculars from another building through a window, and the dude shoots the girl, Caitlin's roommate, so now she's dead.
Yeah, Faith is gone.
Yeah, Faith is gone, and
they kind of figure it's this dirty DC cop.
Yeah.
Named Dan Kubiak.
And, so, we're moving forward in lots of ways, but it's interesting because they kind of stumble out the gate on this operation because the mic, one mic is missing, and Huck don't know where it is, and Quinn doesn't have it, and she needs it, and it's just a big, which normally you don't get from OPA. Everything's usually very professionally done.
Well, Huck knew where it was because he was using
it. Yeah. We'll find out later. The microphone actually was in play.
Yes, it was.
But
wrong crime scene.
We'll tell you about that. So, but the president wants to know, ask Cyrus, how come we don't have a confession from Jake Ballard? Why don't we have a confession from Ballard about killing his son Jerry?
Yeah.
Which is all that right now Fitz is consumed with that, as we all would be if we were in his situation. It's interesting, though, because Cyrus, he asked for the order. Give me the order. Give me the order to take Jake down,
Yes.
And Fitz is saying, no, we're going to do this by the book. Which we come to find out, not really so much.
That's right. We're going to do what by the book?
Yeah. Meantime, Olivia hasn't heard from Jake.
No.
She's calling him and saying, where are you? And this and that. So it kind of makes you wonder, she obviously cares for him more than I thought. I thought she was just using him in a glass until, Fitz came back around again. But apparently she does care for him to some degree anyway.
Was that a blank in the glass?
Yes. As we quote Chris,
I got it.
As we quote Chris Rock. So, but... And
then
there's
in a box, if you want to use it that way, too.
Yeah, there's a knock on her door, and it's Eli. And Eli has a bottle of wine. He says he needed a nightcap.
Man, these two need to make some phone calls before they stop by people's houses. Both of them.
Yeah. But and he plays the role as the innocent dad to perfection. She says, I haven't heard from Jake. And he's like, you haven't heard from him?
Really?
Are you sure? You haven't heard anything from him? Really? Because I thought everything was fine at dinner. Really? Really?
You mean when you pull that carving knife out? Everything's fine, huh?
Yeah. But he played it. It was so sincere. At least it appeared to be. He played that so well.
Yes. Even she was like, come on now. She said, this is too normal.
Yeah, this ain't, we don't...
You got a sweater on looking like Bill Cosby up in this joint? No.
I would like to talk to you, It's like, no. And then he says, there's something about Jake that reminds me of myself. I'm like, wow, Eli Pope is, man, talk about a poker face. He got a poker face.
And there it is. Poker face.
Poker face.
Yeah.
Now, Olivia has a feeling something bad has happened to Jake.
That's right. But, you also have to remember what Rowan said as the scene closed out. As after he already made all these incredibly poker face statements. Mm-hmm. What could possibly happen to a man like Jake?
Yeah. I don't know, man. But so Jake is being interrogated by a brother named Bill.
Yeah.
And Jake is not answering, and then finally Jake says, tells Bill, let's be quiet. Because, the president's going to come and see me. Let's just sit here and be quiet until he gets here.
Yeah.
We
just got just a few more hours ago. Come on, man. I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten.
Yeah.
I'm focusing in. I keep flashing back to that Mozambique.
Yeah. Boy, I think that's where he was finding his peace. Was,
well, that's where he got a peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, the dude keeps pressing Jake, who's handcuffed. He kicks the dude out of his chair. Yeah. And then here comes the guns.
That's right.
Boy.
Remember, you're not in Kansas anymore. You're not in Mozambique anymore.
Man. So we go back to the White House, into the Oval Office, and Fitz walks in the Oval Office, and Melley is just like sitting on the couch. Not sitting like we would sit on the couch. She's like sitting, she's sitting like a 12-year-old would sit when mom and dad are not home, on the arm, on the back. She's sitting on the back of the couch.
Yes, and she smells like an 8-year-old, too.
Yeah. And she tells him,
she does.
She tells him, because he says, Melley, you're drunk by 8 a.m. And she says, you're getting a twofer today. You're getting drunk, Melley, and smelly Melley.
Damn. All up in the Oval Office with that, with the funk.
and he says, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave? He really doesn't want to tell her what the deal is. He doesn't want to do that, but you can tell that it's going to have to happen because she's just way off the deep end.
I don't understand any of this. Why would you allow someone to just devolve into smelly Melley in the first place? Because
not only just a regular person, but she's the first lady.
Yeah, you're just going to let her wallow in her. She needs something. She needs throw her a bone.
Yeah.
You really, because she's getting no. This is the miracle of television. You don't have to have any logic at all.
Right.
And no psychologists coming to the White House. Nobody.
No intervention.
They down the street. They treat Ebola at NIH. Can't find a psychologist.
They ain't one laying around not doing anything.
Just swing on by one day.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had said this a couple of weeks ago about David Rosen. That David is in over his head. Mm-hmm. David feels bad because basically he's responsible for one judge killing himself.
Yes.
He's got the blood of that man on him. But so David took to drinking, and David tries a booty call with Abby. He calls her on the phone.
I've been drinking.
and he failed miserably. You
got to commit if you're going to roll like that,
Man.
But she wasn't having it.
No, she wasn't having it at all. And clearly she's in over her head as the press, or is she the press secretary? What is she? What is her official?
She's the press secretary. You think she's over her head?
I think she's in over her head. Because she seems to be running around and can't catch up.
I think she's capable, but I think she's getting played and not allowed to use all of her talents.
Okay. I can go with that.
For whatever reason. Maybe it's because, the elephant in the room is she's not Olivia. Yeah, but, it's not that she's not capable. Everybody wants that old thing back.
Right.
They want Olivia, and she's not Olivia.
She's not Olivia, right. Olivia tells Huck, I need you to find Jake, because she's convinced something's happened, right?
Yeah.
And Huck's like, huh?
Right.
Because he's got this other.
I'm working on something else.
Yeah, he's got this other thing that he's got going on the side that's very personal, and we come to find out that he's sitting outside his ex-wife's house where his son is, Javi, and she comes out. She sees him. She's seen him many times out there, the wife, and she goes out there to confront him. She seems to be the only one who really isn't scared of him, but then maybe she is. But she tells him he's told her the truth, but the truth is so unbelievable that she doesn't believe Huck.
No.
Now, how many of us have been in that boat?
This time I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, but it's just so out there that it's hard to believe that he's telling the truth. Given everything that he's telling her, I could see her perspective on that, because it just sounds, to a normal person, You know, it just seems like that's just way out there, you know?
Nobody knows anything about, the average person wouldn't know anything about B613 and all these plots and all these things that are going on.
Yeah.
And Tony, speaking of seeing, Huck needs to step up his surveillance. Like, look, this all out in the open. How you going to park across the street from your wife's house?
If she's seen you in that Jeep, like how many times, man?
Right.
You know?
No more disguise, no more, no stealth mode. Just
in the bushes, anything.
You could just pull up in the driveway and get out your binoculars.
Just tell her I'm gonna be sitting on the porch. Right. I mean, something, man. You know, yeah. So Huck finds out where Jake was the last time Jake used his phone, and Olivia decides she's gonna call Fitz about Jake, and of course Fitz says, "You're calling me about your boyfriend." You know, and she keeps prying, do you have Jake? And he says, I can't have this conversation with you. I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
Which really, now has her really concerned, worried, and she knows that he knows something.
Yeah, she is asking questions. Nobody's giving answers, but she's beginning to, because she gets a roadblock everywhere, she's beginning to figure out that, well, if I'm asking something that's prompting no response from all the people that would normally give me information, then it must be true.
Yeah. She even calls Abby, wanted her to find Jake, and of course Abby is still salty with Olivia. Why? Because she's not Olivia, and everybody needs Olivia. She's not Olivia, so she's kind of, and I guess I can understand where she's coming from. That would be kind of brutal. That like you're doing the absolute best you can do, which by the way is really a good job.
Yeah.
But it's not with the Olivia Pope flair.
And this is the conclusion that was planted in her head by David, who, kind of talks about he and Abby have that conversation about the misgivings and the fact that he, again, feels like he killed this judge because he was trying to be Olivia Pope.
Talk about failing miserably. Goodness.
Oh, my God, man. Did you say that out loud? My goodness. There goes your manhood. Bye.
So Fitz decides that he's going to go see Jake, which Jake predicted. Jake already knew he was coming to see him, So Fitz and Jake are in the interrogation room with one of the Secret Service agents, and they're talking and stuff, and Jake tells Fitz that, he's been, he sees in the report that Jake's been singing. He says, what have you been singing? He says, Otis Redding. They're singing Otis, man. Yeah. Sitting on the dock of the bay, and then they both start singing the song. Yeah.
Dock of the bay.
I'm like, wow. Now, Jake tells him, I did not kill Jerry. I didn't do that. But at the same time, Jake is relatively calm about this. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's all he has. That if he remains calm, that maybe they'll start to believe something,
He's with his old Navy buddy.
Yeah.
And finally, you wouldn't listen to me the first time.
Right.
Now, you had to come down and see me because I'm not talking. So You're here. So, okay, finally I can tell you exactly what I was trying to tell you a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Here's what happened. I was set up by Rowan.
Right. And Fitz doesn't want to hear it. And he wants to know, I want to know why you killed my son. And then it starts to get personal. Yep. And Jake tells Fitz, you've been waiting for this moment since I first got with her. I put my hands where you think they don't belong. I was like, man, they really, between Fitz telling Olivia's father last season, I know what your daughter tastes like and all this stuff like that. I mean, they really, it's not abuse, but it's just something about that that's just wrong. They just talk about this woman like, I don't know, man. But as a father with 3 daughters, I guess that I'm like, man, that's just wrong. That's just wrong.
But at least all the senses, the human body senses have been used in this.
Yeah.
Only thing that they didn't talk about was hearing. They were talking about taste, touch,
inside her,
everything.
It's like, oh man, this is, and there is no better way to really piss another man off than to tell him these kinds of things about someone he cares deeply about.
Cares deeply? Tony, you really took the high road on that one. I don't think cares and deeply are the words. Something and deeply.
Well,
but it wasn't cares.
Well, hey, Huck is back in front of the wife's house again. And she comes out and confronts him again.
Again, daytime.
Daytime.
Across the street, man. Come on. What's going on here?
Man.
With the binoculars.
With the binoculars in the daytime in the same Jeep.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
He's slipping.
Huck wants to see his son. That's what she said. I want to see Javi. And she says, well, come back tonight.
Yeah, and I knew something was wrong, Tony.
Oh, man, you could smell that?
She flipped up. Oh, you just want to see Javi? Okay.
Yeah.
Come by at 8.
Yeah. And she's just reeling them in, man. She's just reeling them in. And for somebody who has the training and from, seasons past, it's like you really have to work hard to get something by Huck. But it seems like when it comes to this whole storyline with his wife, he's pretty sloppy with everything. And he's pretty gullible with what she says. And I guess, that's his weakness, obviously, is his son.
He wants resolve.
He wants resolve.
He wants to come back home. He wants to see his kids,
right?
His son. And I think he's like, well, all the chips are on the table now.
Right.
Here's what's going on. I've told you the truth.
Right.
I'm trying to get back into my kid's life.
Right.
So he obviously, has justified parking across the street and doing his own personal surveillance to the point that, he's like, hey, it is what it is. I'm just trying to look out for you all.
Now, Melley, back at the White House, Melley confronts Fitz's executive secretary, I guess for lack of an executive assistant, asking where's Fitz? Mm-hmm. And she doesn't really want to answer. And because Melley says we have a standing 2:30 appointment, and she points it out on the calendar on the computer. Every day at 2:30 we go and visit Jerry at the cemetery. Right. Where's Fitz? And she doesn't want to say, which leads Melley to believe that Fitz is with Olivia. Yes. Which I guess, given everything that's happened, it's a natural assumption, I think, for someone in Melley's position to make that he ain't around.
Yeah.
And the only reason why he ain't around is because he's back with his mistress again.
I ain't crazy, but I'm crazy. I've been eating chips and eating chicken but I ain't no fool now.
Yeah, And
Melley's still got a brain.
She's still got a brain, But as we'll find out, she was wrong. We move over to Quinn. Quinn keeps replaying this murder that her and Olivia witnessed at the beginning of the show in her mind. And in her mind, I mean, Quinn in the last 2 seasons, season and a half, has really stepped up her game. She's like the new Huck.
Yeah, without a beard.
Without a beard, and she thinks that this key that everybody's looking for is in Faith's body.
That's the conclusion she arrived at.
Yeah. So not only is Quinn has mastered the computer and mastered surveillance, mastered interrogation, mastered confrontation. She apparently has while she was learning all this, went and got her medical degree.
Right.
Because she went to the morgue where Faith is stored in the, where they keep dead bodies, and she pulls out a scalpel and goes in and cuts the girl open and retrieves the key. She was right. The girl swallowed the key.
She pulled it out of her stomach.
I mean, Quinn has incredible skills. She is a true Renaissance woman. She knows a little about everything.
Well, if you're going to cut open a person, it should probably be a dead one.
Well, yeah.
Ain't nobody talking.
It's not like you just cut open the abdomen. The skin, and then there's the key. You got to get into the sack and the belly, and you got to move the intestines out of the way. Yeah, and she knew exactly how to do that, which was like, man, she's a smart woman.
Yes, she is.
So Huck goes to see, it's 8 o'clock, and he's got an appointment to see Javi, his son, who he's been wanting to see for a long time. He walks in.
With a toy. He got a toy.
A toy. The Quinn helped him wrap.
Yes.
And a doctor is in the house waiting for him. Some kind of, I assume it's some kind of psychiatrist.
The smiling psychiatrist.
The smiling psychiatrist.
This guy, man, that extra moment, it was kind of like, hey, I understand you were in the military. This guy is about to wind up and go off because because it looks like he's not getting what he's supposed to be getting.
Yeah.
Where is Javi?
Yeah, where's Javi?
You're trying to make small talk. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then he's like, Javi, and at first look, I thought that was Hill Harper at first look, right?
Right.
But
that was Bill Harper.
He keeps wanting to talk to Huck, and Huck just gives him just chokes the crap out of him, and just, one move, bam!
Right.
And he wasn't letting go, man.
No.
And oxygen was quickly leaving this doctor, fast, quick, and in a hurry. But Huck finally lets him go.
And rolls out.
And I kind of think one of the last things you ever want to do if you're in a Huck's vicinity is piss him off.
Yeah, and lie to him.
And lie to him.
How's that going to be resolved? So she set him up.
Yeah.
The bitch set me up. She set him up with an intervention.
Yeah.
Instead of, all he wanted to do was see his son. And again, he reiterated that he hadn't lied. He's been telling the truth.
Right.
And, So.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Cyrus goes to see Olivia. And he tells Olivia that they have photographic evidence that Jake killed Jerry and that Jake killed Harrison.
That's right.
Where'd that come from?
That came from Rowan, right? Didn't Rowan kind of...
Exactly. And Cyrus tells Olivia, your father got the confession from Secret Service agent Tom, which right there, just for Olivia, raises a flag. You got this from my father?
Right. But she got all of the information. That's the thing that's interesting about the show, because when the key, no pun intended, that's the name of the episode, when the key information is given, it's never just the one thing.
Right.
There are like 4 other things around it.
Yeah.
So she didn't even have time to react to the fact that her father got the confession because she's concerned about Jake.
Right.
So she had to, what?
Yeah.
And it was like, huh? What?
Yeah.
And then all this other stuff about Jake was more important than having to hear about what was going on with her dad.
This is true. And the thing is, and Cyrus made sure that he mentioned Jake. Oh, by the way, Jake murdered my husband.
Yes.
So you got to get that dig in too. And
nobody said anything about that.
No.
You can't. Olivia could not, go into her struggle face after that one.
No.
Because you can't tell me that this is more important than the fact that I'm coming over to your house,
right,
and telling you about the guy who killed my husband, and I'm planning on dancing on his grave. We're going to do the electric slide.
Oh, man. The next time you need me, the next time you want to chat, you'll find me dancing on his grave. He says this to Olivia Pope about the man that she apparently cares deeply about and is really concerned for. And he says, I'm going to be dancing on his grave the next time you need me.
And It's Raining Men is going to be playing in the background.
So Olivia says, but she goes to see Eli because she needs to confront him about all this because she smells a rat. Mm-hmm. There's nobody on the planet who knows Eli Pope better than Olivia Pope. And she says, you did all this. Mm-hmm. And of course, we get the Eli Pope soliloquy of, his dialogue there's always that moment, right? Which I enjoy it. I think Joe Morton plays Eli Pope to a, fantastic T. He says, Jake was my agent. Jake killed Harrison on his own. Jake killed Jerry for you.
Yes.
Because you were hired to win the election. And Jerry, basically saying Jerry was sacrificed so that you could get the job done and win this election for the president.
Mm-hmm. And then Yeah, basically the running theme that he underlined all of these killings and death and cloak and dagger stuff was the fact that Jake loved her.
Yeah.
And that he knew, and Rowan says he knew that because Jake was his protege, because he trained him,
right.
He knew that you'd be in a safe place with him.
I knew he wouldn't hurt you.
Yeah.
You know? And then he says at the end, I just want you to be happy.
Right. My man is in jail, or he's being interrogated, but you want me to be happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know? And I don't know, man. So we're back in the White House with Fitz and Melley, and Melley tells Fitz, you missed Jerry today. You were off screwing Olivia Pope. Mm-hmm. And by then he's like, you know what? I've had it. I was trying to get a confession out of our son's killer, he says.
Dun, dun, dun.
And obviously he didn't want Melley to know, like I said earlier, because she is so off the deep end that if this takes her any further, she may never get back. But right. why he cares, I guess he only cares because that's his children's mother. You know? And he tells her Jerry was murdered so he could win the election. Even he says that. And that actually really resonates with Melley. It makes sense to Melley. You know, Melley says he was our soldier. He died for our sins, is what she says.
His death was meaningful.
Yeah. And Fitz gets mad. And he says, never mention my son to me again. He doesn't want to talk with Melley about Jerry ever again. He is so angry by what she said, but there's a lot of truth in what she said when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, these are two diabolical, conniving politicians who have used their children. You know, we go back early in episodes, they barely knew these kids' names.
And they were their own children. And
it was, you got a lacrosse game? Man. No, that was last week, Dad. Thanks. I mean, they didn't really, they cared, obviously they were their kids, but it was a very distant thing because they were doing other things. They were running the country, or they were pursuing their political goals, whatever the case may be. Sure. So it finally kicked in when Jerry was killed, but she processed it the way they had always processed things. It was for the greater good.
Yeah.
It allowed us to stay in the White House, allowed you to continue to be president so you can move the agenda forward as president, all of these things. She started making more sense in this episode than she had since, you know, who knows how long.
But then I think it dawned on Fitz, at what price did I pay to be president 4 more years?
Right.
Which you know, angered him to the point where he told his wife, the mother of his dead son, don't ever talk about my son again. It's like, but she's right. Wait a minute.
That's right.
She what she's saying is absolutely correct. That you guys sacrificed your own child. Maybe not knowingly.
Right.
But it clearly, I mean, because when he was murdered, when their son died, you know, Fitz could have said, you know what? The hell with this. I don't want to be president anymore. The price was too high. I still have one child. I have 2 children. You still got little Teddy too, right?
Yeah.
So I got 2 children still living, and I'm not willing to sacrifice them for anything. I've already lost one. I don't want to be president. But no, he took the job. He took the gig. So, you know, in a way, you know, little Teddy, him and Ella, they need to elope now while they're infants, while they're toddlers.
Yes.
You know, and go make their own life, because they're headed down a road that they have no idea that the family business is an ugly business.
There's a great little place in Mozambique they could hang out there. I'm sure there's some good schools there. I'm telling you, that's where they need to be.
Hey, David is waiting for Abby in her office, and of course he's drunk. And he says, I killed someone with the B613 files.
Yes.
You know, those files made David Rosen a winner.
That's right.
And he always wanted to be a winner. Like you said earlier, I was trying to be Olivia Pope, he says, and I killed him, the judge.
David is a perpetual loser.
Yeah.
And has come to the realization that that is all that he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But just as soon as it's interesting because where is this guy? because, a while ago, knowing that he had those files helped him feel like a winner.
Yeah.
And helped him feel like he could, and even Jake said, you can do some powerful things with this information and you can make things right. But anytime David has the opportunity, the guilt sets in, he just begins to doubt himself.
Yeah.
And once again, it has happened.
What now, man? What?
He just fell off. He fell off again. He's back to old doubtful David.
Yeah. Old scared of his own shadow.
Yes.
But you know what? Before he witnessed what Jake did, when Jake killed, Cyrus's husband and those other people and stuff, he had a small set. He had a small pair, but he did have a pair.
Yes.
But after he witnessed that, he ain't had a pair since, and I don't think he'll ever have it back.
Well, he has them, but they're removable.
They're held on by Velcro.
And they're also at public storage.
With the B613 files. So Abby goes to see Olivia, and she goes in on Olivia. You are poison. You are, this, that, and the other.
That girl is poison.
Olivia tells Abby that Jake killed Harrison, and that stops Abby in her tracks, because as we all know, Abby and Harrison were pretty tight.
Yes. But sidebar, Tony, once again, Olivia doesn't care what she's talking about.
Right.
Because it's all about her.
It's all about her.
She came in the door, Abby came in the door firing missiles.
Missiles.
She was like, hey. Jake killed Harrison.
and Jerry Grant.
And Jerry Grant, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Abby's comforting Olivia.
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Eh?
Let's go back to Melley, though. Melley apparently has woken up.
Yeah.
And she's in the shower, and Bill Withers' Lovely Day is playing in the background, man. Could Shonda Rhimes get it any more better than to pick one song that transitions a whole situation?
Yes, that's the one.
That was the one. What a great song, by the way. But we haven't seen a shower.
Finally a song that I like.
Yeah. We haven't had a shower scene mean so much since the Dallas Bobby Ewing shower when, that shower scene from 25, 30 years ago.
Damn, Tony. We're deep in the crevice.
Deep in the crates, man. That was the last time a shower scene really meant anything. So she apparently is getting back in the game, man.
WYA. Wash your ass. That's what Fitz said. And go, hey, don't talk to me until you become the Melley that you used to be.
Right. And so Fitz is interrogating Jake. And he says, did you kill my son? And then he punches him. And then, did you kill my son? Over and over again, and he punches him. And Jake is just taking it. Because as he's getting his ass kicked, he's flashing back to the island when he was having Olivia any which way he wanted to.
Yeah.
That's where he's finding his peace and his solace, and how he can just sit there and take that beating from Fitz.
I thought this was supposed to be by the book.
Since when does the president interrogate anybody and beat
somebody's ass? You're president of the United States.
Yeah. And let's be honest. You take those handcuffs and get that Secret Service man out of the room, and Jake would mop the floor with Fitz.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
I think Jake would mop the floor with Fitz with no problem. Would probably do it like like one of these, and with no effort at all. It wouldn't take much. Jake was trained by Eli Pope.
Yeah,
so there you go. Jake is this series Jason Bourne. He's got all this training. He's a machine.
That's right.
And his, Olivia is kryptonite for quite a few people.
Yes.
And even just
a machine too, but he's just an old machine.
Well,
he used to be that.
Yeah,
but he's not anymore.
He's a machine who he needs maintenance. He needs oil. He needs to be oiled up. He needs to be
Yeah.
And Jake is fine tuned, and I think that in the steel cage match, there's no question who would win that. But right now, Jake is handcuffed to a chair, sitting down with another Secret Service agent in the room, And so he knows I just got to take this beating. And so while I take this beating, I'm going to think about what I did to you, the love of your life, on an island where nobody was. We just had it to ourselves. We were, having things delivered to us by boat.
Now Fitz was delivering some blows though.
He was punching him pretty. He was
getting it in.
Yeah, he was throwing some hands, man. There's no doubt about that. And that's how the episode winds up, man. Tell me what I missed.
Tony, I think you covered everything. I mean, obviously the storyline with Catherine still being in jail, and again, Quinn finding the key, which is the name of the episode,
right? That
may contain, a locker that may contain some information that will clear her eventually. We didn't talk about the fact that her husband employed Kubiak,
right? The guy who killed everybody.
And they had a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He and Kubiak had a conversation, and he essentially felt like, you killed not only my daughter, but her friend.
Right.
And he said, didn't we talk about this?
and Olivia let him know.
Don't ask me about what I do for you.
And Olivia let him know that, I'm on to everything.
Yeah.
I just have this other situation with Jake I got to deal with, but I know what the hell's going on over here.
Exactly.
I'll be back. I just need to find this dude over here who's in a lot of trouble. But best believe I know what the hell's going on.
Oh yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, which that's typical Olivia Pope, man. She is multitasking, man. That's what she does. So, well, there you go. The episode called The Key, and another strong episode, I thought, man.
Yeah, this was good. Sometimes Scandal has that big, huge episode with, like last week, with a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on, and then the following week it's kind of like,
yeah.
But not this time.
No, not this time. Came back strong.
This was strong.
Yeah, very strong. So we appreciate you watching Men on Scandal, our weekly recap of every episode of Scandal. If you give it a thumbs up on YouTube, that'd be great. You could share it, repost it, whatever you can do to help us get the word out that there are actually three guys who do a Scandal recap from a man's perspective. So we appreciate you watching. All right, we also do a show called Men on Everything that you can check out where we talk about everything that actually is real in the world, like Ebola and just the world in general, pop culture, sports, everything. We do that once a week also. You can check that out on talking360.com.
You don't want to miss either one of these shows. And we need to be a little bit more forceful, Tony, with our plea to people. Please make a thumbs up. Make a thumbs up.
Take your punk ass over there and give it a thumbs up.
That's right.
Oh, and by the way, please listen to my podcast, too, the Tony Scott Internet Show, which is at talking360.com.
Tony, we was a please for that one.
Yeah. And actually, I had
to listen to that, please.
I had the opportunity a couple of days ago to talk to Bunny DeBarge, and she talks about her life, her drug addiction, her father, who was, I think it's fair to say, may have been a major negative influence in all of his children's lives. He had 10 children with Bunny's mother, and then he had 4 other children. So, and what you may or may not have known is actually she's got twin siblings. Now, I think she said like her mother was a twin, and she's got twin siblings, and I think she says Randy has twins too. So the parent, and usually it skips a generation, but they pow all in a row. So,
man, there was a lot of things going on in that family.
that's Shonda Rhimes thing,
But now, Bunny DeBarge back in the day.
Oh man!
And there were a couple more of her running around. Man, wow.
Man, look here, man.
By the way, Tony, excellent interview with Bunny DeBarge.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Give you a brew baker.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching, too. Men on Scandal, that's Troy Johnson in Washington, D.C. Mark Clark will join us again next week from New York. I'm Tony Scott in St. Louis in my basement, and we'll see you again soon.
Peace.